Hey guys, it's me, Mario. Today we're going to continue Arachnid, the King of Spiders. Chapter 1, Destiny. How are you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. Tom and Elena watched Epos, the great flame bird of Aventia, soar into the glow of the setting sun. I can't believe we just rode on Epos' back, Elena said, her eyes wide with excitement. Storm and Silver can't believe it either. Tom grinned. It's not every day that a stallion and a wolf ride on a phoenix. Storm shook his coal-black mane and nuzzled the silver-colored wolf at Elena's side. Tom removed his magical golden armor and gazed at it with pride. He now had 4 pieces of Aventia's enchanted armor to help him in his quest to save his friend Eldero, King Hugo's wizard, who had been kidnapped by the dark wizard Malvel. The helmet granted Tom extra keen sight. The chainmail gave him great strength of heart in battle. The breastplate made him physically strong, and the leg armor allowed him to run fast over long distances. But there were still 2 pieces of the armor to find, and they were protected by 2 more evil beasts. Only when he and Elena had defeated those beasts could they vanquish Malvel and rescue Eldero. The 4 friends headed back to the village from where they had started their latest quest for supplies. Elena handed him the flask of water for which they had bartered. Tom drank deeply. The battle they had fought against Vipro. The battle they had fought against Vipro, the snake man in the desert, was still on his mind. It had been the toughest test Tom had ever faced. But he, Elena, Storm, and Silver had done it. And Tom had retrieved the leg armor. It was time for the next challenge. We have to go on, Tom said, returning the flask to Elena. Storm worked it gently and pushed at Tom with his nose. No, Tom, said Elena, her hand resting on Silver's back. First we must rest. But Eldero needs our help more than ever, Tom insisted. We've got to find the next beast. We're tired, Elena pointed out. You need all your strength. You're no use to Eldero like this. Tom knew his friend was right. Reluctantly, he took off the rest of the golden armor while Elena built a fire. Almost as soon as the sun had vanished over the horizon, a chill crept into the desert air. Tom and Elena pitched camp beneath beneath a slender palm tree, ate bread and cheese, and drank water from a nearby stream. Storm cropped the grass, and Silver padded silently into the darkness, bringing back 2 rabbits. "We'll leave first thing in the morning," said Tom, studying his enchanted map in the firelight. "The map is showing a road that will take us away from the desert and towards the mountains, where the next piece of armor is waiting for us." "Perfect," Elena yawned, settling down. Try to sleep now." Tom gazed at the 4 pieces of golden armor, glowing in the light of the campfire. He noticed that several links in the chainmail were broken, and it reminded him of the danger faced by Eldoro. Malville had told Tom that every time he lost heart, the good wizard would be lowered closer to a pit of boiling tar. Shuddering, Tom remembered the vision Malville had shown them of Eldoro. His friend and protector had been bound to a chair that dangled dangerously above the gurgling, spluttering pit. He swallowed. He couldn't let Eldor down, but doubts still swarmed through his mind. Malville had told them that the next beast was a monstrous spider. It sounded terrifying. How could he and Elena fight a creature like that? Tom fidgeted on the hard desert floor, exhausted but unable to sleep. Then he sensed Storm above him. Gently, the stallion snorted and blew Tom's hair away from his face. Feeling comforted, Tom closed his eyes and felt the heart lighted. Felt his heart lightened. He had succeeded in so many quests already. He could surely complete another. Tom slept deeply. When he awoke the next morning, the sun was deeper over the horizon. He drew on his new leg armor, feeling an instant pulse of energy. "You take Storm," he suggested to Helena as they packed up their belongings after breakfast. "My leg armor makes me feel as if I could run forever." "Sounds like a good idea to me," Helena laughed. "Open the door and leave." He climbed onto Storm's back and settled into the saddle. Then she clicked her tongue and kicked her heels. The stallion whined and broke into a gallop. Wearing the leg armor, Tom found that he could easily keep up. His legs felt like giant strings. He sprinted beside Elena and Storm, whooping with pleasure as the wind buffeted his face. Silver raced beside him, leaping and barking with delight. More pockets of green began to appear beside the road as they they left the desert behind. Soon they were crossing the wide, fertile plains planted with corn. The air was fresher here, a relief after the scorching winds of the desert. "Look, Tom," said Elena in delight. "An orchard." Gnarled apples, gnarled apple trees groaning from. I can't read. Excuse me, I need to drink. Gnarled apple trees, groaning with fruits, stood at the side of the road. Near a lively stream, Tom swung for the nearest tree, landing easily on the branch near the bottom. He reached for the apples and dropped them down to Elena before hopping back to the ground. The apples were crisp and cool. The juice ran down Tom and Elena's chins as they bit into them. Storm hungrily tore fruits from the branches, while Silver bounded between the trees and rolled in the long grass. "I never knew an apple could taste so delicious," Tom said, grinning. Elena laughed. "Nor did Storm," she said. "He must have eaten 20. Tom felt a surge of gratitude for his 3 friends. They had come so far together already. With Elena, Storm and Silver by his side, Tom felt he could fight 20 beasts. As he rested against the tree, Tom suddenly saw, out of the corner of his eye, the initial T carved into the ancient bark. He traced the letter with his finger, his heart pumping. Could it stand for Teledon? He felt a mixture of sadness and excitement, as he always did when he thought of the father he had never met. "Look, Elena," he said. "T for Teledon, perhaps." T for Teledon. Perhaps he passed this way. Perhaps. His voice trailed off. "You'll see him one day," said Elena, guessing instantly what was on Tom's mind. Tom smiled at his friend. He hopped with all his heart that she was right. He pulled his enchanted map and then his magical compass out from Storm's saddlebag, and studied them carefully. He had been given the compass by his uncle. He had told who had told him that it once belonged to his father. The needle showed him when to step forward to meet his destiny, and when to flee possible danger. Tom held the compass tightly, then placed it on the map, which once again came to life. Mountains rose up, and miniature rivers gleamed, and tiny trees swayed in the wind. A glowing red line appeared, showing Tom the way to a town that nestled at the edge of the mountains. Right next to the town, near a rocky outcrop, a pair of minuscule golden gauntlets glittered. The next piece of the armor, the swiveled. Tom swiveled the compass until the needle pointed towards the town. Destiny, it read. Tom rolled up the map and gathered his courage. It's time to fight a giant spider, he said. And that was chapter 1 of Arachnid, the King of Spiders. Sorry, I got distracted for a second there. But yeah. Arachnid, the giant spider. The King of Spiders. It's kind of odd that they call it a flame bird in the past, but then call it a phoenix in this. It's kind of weird. To call it a flame bird in every other book that came before this one. So I don't know why they would change it now. But yeah, anyway. That was chapter 1. Oh my God. Chapter 1, Destiny. Well, the Destiny part of the chapter didn't really come in towards the end, until the end, but whatever. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my read through of Beast Quest. And I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye.